Hello everyone. We are back with our March transits. I feel like I only wear the same outfit, but whatever. That's just how it goes. We're going to get straight into it. Starting with March 2nd, we have Mars entering Pisces. So Mars going into Pisces is going to be the 12th house. Obviously, wherever your personal Mars is, that's going to be relevant, but Pisces rules the 12th house, which is all about hidden elements, very heavy into the intuition. Basically, with Mars going into this particular sign, it's going to be seeking the path of least resistance. Think water flowing downhill. So when conflicts are going to come up, which inevitably they will, the solution is going to be less direct and more in a way that'll highlight your self-preservation. So it's just going to be like somebody is yelling at you or whatever, and you're just like, oh, okay, whatever, yeah, you're right. It's more letting things go, not necessarily out of a fear or anything like that. It's just you're just gonna be less in that fight energy and more fawn or freezing, if that's your move. This is definitely a time where people are going to be a lot more passive with their anger. Just something to be mindful of. It's not always negative. This could also be a time where you're more likely to find a peaceful resolution to a problem versus, something blowing up into a big thing. You got to look at the dark and light side of everything. March 3rd, we have a lunar eclipse with that full moon in Virgo. This is sort of like that last little bit of the Virgo Pisces axis that we've had with our eclipses for the last 2 years, and it's sort of handing over. It's like a changing of the guard. So with that energy, this will be big for any mutable signs: Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces. Virgo is your 6th house. That's your daily routines. That's service to others. It could also be confronting where you have a tendency to let perfectionism rule in your life. This is a time where it's going to highlight the shadow side of Virgo. And it is also aligning with the South Node, which is still hanging out in Virgo. So there's going to be a purging, a cleansing, and again, like I said, you're just going to be looking at that shadow side of Virgo and where it falls in your own life and where those tendencies that you have can be a detriment to you. Not always a bad thing. It's good to take some time to examine yourself and to be honest with yourself about where you might be experiencing too much of a good thing. There is such a thing as being too much of a perfectionist. There is such a thing as being too service oriented, especially if that means that you tend to push yourself further and further down the list of priorities in favor of being helpful to other people. March 6th, Venus moves into Aries. This is a fun transit. It's going to be, Aries is the leader. They're an action taker. They're ruled by Mars. So you will have that that forcefulness behind it, the boldness, that focused and driven energy. So there is going to be like an emotional charge coming through, but it will also lead to you defining yourself in terms of your creativity, your passion, and this is passion in the things that you do and the people that you do. There is a shadow side here of being impatient, a little impulsive, and potentially leaning towards being a little more selfish. Again, there's a light and dark side of everything. And so maybe you're the person who, like we were talking about Virgo being service oriented and, lowering yourself on the priority list. Maybe this Venus in Aries is going to be the push that you need to really confront all of the issues with that, and maybe a little bit of selfishness is what you need, and you need to fall into it and let it influence you a little bit. This is all about finding the light and dark within yourself. Aries is your first house. That's how people perceive you. That is how you stand as a leader. And with Venus coming into that energy, which is, there's just going to be some fire coming through. I like it. March 7th, we have a Mercury cazimi in Pisces, and we also have Venus conjuncting Neptune. Mercury cazimi. A cazimi is where the planet, whatever the planet is with the sun. So we're going to have Mercury in the sun, which means we are going to be highlighting your communications, your thoughts. I like to associate Mercury with learning things and the mind and, the expansion. And with Pisces, that's amazing because Pisces is highly intuitive and just, I feel like those two working together with the sun shining on it is just going to be sort of like you're going to be learning about, potentially, if you are into the spiritual aspect of life, maybe you're going to find out about a new clair. If you know what clairs are, maybe you're clairaudient, maybe you're going to be developing a new clair. That could be fun. It could also mean that your dreams are going to be a lot louder around this time. And of course, we are going to be coming into that Mercury retrograde, and it's going to be in Pisces for a while. Basically almost a whole month of Mercury being in Pisces. Mercury doesn't exactly love Pisces because there is that tendency for miscommunication and confusion and haziness when it comes to Pisces. Is going to mess with your head a little bit, and so it's going to be there for a while, but let's take advantage of that cazimi and enjoy the sun, and again, embrace the light before we fall into the shadow and have to walk through that. You're gonna maybe even have some light bulb moments, which I'm looking forward to. I could use a light bulb or two. With Venus conjuncting Neptune, Neptune rules Pisces, and Neptune has this association with idealism, which there's a good impact side to that, and meeting up with Venus means that there's going to be a magnetic energy with this idealism. So that, again, shadow, light, it could be good, it could be bad. The good side is you might meet someone and think that they are the reason that the sun is in the sky, and they're going to think that you're the reason for the moon being in the sky, and that's lovely. Shadow side, that's obviously not true. And you might find out the hard way that it's very untrue and that person isn't exactly who you think they are. But again, light, dark, maybe good, maybe bad. There is going to be a boost in creativity because, Pisces is all about that hidden realms, the dreams, and there's that creativity that comes from the energy of Pisces amplified in Neptune because that's the father of Pisces. We'll say Neptune is the father of Pisces. Why not? March 8th, Venus will be conjunct Saturn. So all of these transits that we've been seeing for the whole year, basically, it's like this planetary conga line. I'll try to find like a little image of what a screenshot map of the stars and planets and things, so you can see. But the planets are all following each other right now. They're all like, and so one after the other, they're moving through the zodiac right now. It's cute. I love it. And it means that there's a lot of potentials for, especially with the inner planets, there's a lot of stuff coming up internally, which is why people have been saying over and over again that there's a lot of change. There's a lot of like energy. You probably feel it within yourself. Like you're like, I want to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I feel like I should be doing something. That's what that is. It's just that the planets are talking to each other and they're churning the emotional waters. Venus conjunct Saturn. This is where passion meets your discipline. It's basically building that structure for you to hang your creativity off of. It's wonderful. Again, that light and dark aspect of it. Passion doesn't always mesh well with discipline. Like, I'm sure there are plenty of creative people who hate having structure, and I'm sure that there are very structured people who are like, they don't play games. They don't believe in games. And there is that dynamic where if you don't embrace what's happening and you try to fight against it and you lean too far to one side or the other, you're not going to have a good time. You can have a good time here. This is great if you are if you're building your own business, if you are starting something new. This is the perfect time for it to happen. You have the planetary support here because you'll be able to make a plan, and then you'll be able to make that plan really pretty and fun and beautiful. That's what Venus is all about, bringing the beauty into things. Love that. March 11th, Jupiter will be stationing direct in Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. That is going to be the 4th house being activated. That's home, family. It's a water sign, which means there's going to be some big fifis coming through. Jupiter went retrograde back in November 11th of last year. So if you have any journals or anything that you can look back on to reference what was going on around that time and what's been going on up until now, this is when we are in that finalization space before we start to move forward. Jupiter's a lucky planet, so I think it's funny that it's exalted in Cancer with the home and family stuff. So maybe if you are looking to move, or if you're trying to find your soul family or anything like that, or if you're trying to connect a little more with your own actual birth family, perfect time to do it. We have March 13th. Mars will be conjunct the North Node in Pisces. Anything that touches the North Node is going to be dealing with fated events, things that are speaking to your soul path, where you're meant to be, your purpose in life. And with Mars coming through here, that means that there's movement and action coming into the fate area of your life. So this could mean you doing something. This is someone else doing something that benefits you in some way. And with that Pisces energy, that is dreams, intuition. So maybe someone, your ancestors, whoever you speak to in the celestial areas that send you dreams, they are going to be sending you something important in your dreams. This could also mean that you are just picking up on nudges telling you, go here today, do that today. Pay attention to what comes up around that day and like that particular time frame within the days before and the days after, because there's definitely going to be something coming through for you, as long as you're listening, right? March 15th, Mercury retrograde will be conjuncting Mars. This is going to be in Pisces. That's your 12th house. But this is going to be you looking at your toolkit. You're basically examining, what you have at your disposal that you're maybe not using to the full extent that you could be. This is also a time to begin planning something. If you have a goal in mind, if you want to start a new project, if you're building a company, or whatever it is that you're trying to do in your life, whatever is on your 5-year plan, this is not necessary. With the Mercury retrograde, things are going to be lining up precisely, so it's not time for action. But with Mars likes action, so to feed that need for action, get really heavily into that planning and really give yourself some steps to follow. March 17th, we have our retrograde Mercury conjuncting with the North Node in Pisces. This energy feels like a second chance. It's taking you back around to something from before. Whatever that means. It's friendships, relationships, family, jobs, anything at all. This feels like there was something that maybe the universe is asking you to take a look at it again. Like, are you sure? Doesn't have to be yes, it doesn't have to be no. The universe isn't telling you if something does come back around that you're meant to be there. We're just checking. We're just making sure. This is like a little bit of an alignment check. Like, are you sure you want to go to these places, or do you want to be here again? Because we can put you back. Like, it's there, or we can go somewhere else. Shadow and light. March 19th, the new moon in Pisces. This is asking, what does your future look like? What do you want it to look like? This is a time to seek clarity about your dreams. Is there something that you want to do? How can you be more intentional about achieving that thing? It's asking you to be serious and get real, which is funny for Pisces, but that's how that works. We have March 20th. The sun is moving into Aries and Mercury will be stationing direct. The alignment of that is beautiful because we all know Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the leader. It is the beginning of the new cycle. And we have that coinciding with Mercury stationing direct. This is very much that green light from the universe. This is like all of the planning, all of the consideration, all of that, asking yourself what you want, having, Mercury retrograde coinciding with your North Node, like doubling back on something. Like, are you sure you want this? Do you want that? Like, are you sure? And now we're at the point where we've done all of our thinking, we've done all of our inner work, and now it's time to move, to act. On March 22nd, we have Neptune Cazimi in Aries and Mercury conjuncting again with the North Node in Pisces. This time it's not retrograde. The Neptune Cazimi is Neptune in the Sun. So this is a creativity boost. And like I said before, we're acting on our plans. So now we're moving forward on whatever dreams we were thinking about and imagining and building our frameworks for. I love that. And with Mercury conjuncting the North Node, that's going to be potentially overhearing a conversation about something that you've always wanted to do, or related to something that you really need to know, and that there was no other way for it to come through but an overheard conversation at a restaurant, right? It's going to be stuff like that, where it's just somebody says exactly what you needed to hear right in that right moment. It's going to be fun. Pay attention to what's going on around you, the things that people are saying and things that you're seeing. There's a reason. March 25th, we will have Saturn Cazimi in Aries. Saturn is a discipline planet. People get weird about Saturn. They don't necessarily love the energy of Saturn. I do, but this is about taking control of your identity. This is the first house. Wherever your natal Saturn is, it's also going to affect that house. And also wherever you have Aries sitting in your chart, that's what's coming into focus here. But overall, it's about your identity. It's about how people perceive you. And while we cannot control how people perceive us, there is an element of maybe you changing your approach that could alter that perception. It's about revising and recalibrating your image or your appearance in some way. It could also be you taking action on your plans. This could be you finally being honest with yourself about how effective you are. Like, what's your follow through look like? And this is going to be shining a light on that. Like, are you actually doing things that you said you were going to do? You had all that time to plan, and you made all those plans, and you had your dreams, and you were like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. That Cazimi is bringing that spotlight and saying, are you doing it? Hello? Are we doing it? And lastly, but not leastly, we have March 30th. Venus enters Taurus. It's gonna be cute. This is going to be insight into what brings you pleasure, what will bring you stability, what will make you. Tauruses love their home life. They love being comfortable. They love being safe. And as much as a Virgo gets placed in that, oh, they love a routine, the Taurus also really, they're a fixed sign. They love a routine. They love that consistency. And so this Venus moving into this sign is all about, maybe you want a real relationship, and romantic, platonic. Maybe it's you want to find a steady job. You want that steady income. Taurus is your second house. That's finances. So this could be that. It could be you finally getting that job that you want, that is going to give you, or it could be you in your business finally picking up momentum and getting that business going where you actually have people showing up and you're consistently getting paid. The shadow side, we got to talk about it. There's going to be that Four of Pentacles clutching, clinging energy where you're a little overly possessive. There's potential for that. And of course, it's natural. Something makes you happy, you want to stay happy. Who wouldn't? That doesn't mean you gotta like death grip it, you know? So, that's what I have for the month of March. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know what transit you're looking forward to the most. I already know. I have my little stars on my notes about stuff that's relevant to me. Join me over on Instagram. I'm still trying to make that happen. I might put the little map transit thing over there, and then we can have like a discussion about, you know, anything. Like I said, any transits that you're excited about, anything that you're looking forward to, anything that you're terrified about. Anyway, thank you for sitting with me. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and I hope that you will be kind to yourselves and to one another.